All right. I'll let everybody funnel in. I can't have this up. It's a little too much. All right. Who's in here? We already got a commenter. Admiral, what's up? Markers are not in before you ask. They did not come in yet. So yeah, apologies in advance for that. So when they come in, it'll come in. The wig is on its way. That's what I have to check. We'll get a little quick update because I ordered it on the weekend, so it wasn't going to be here on today, which is Monday, obviously. Sabrina's here. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Rosano. Oh, you saw? Yeah. First episode live. Yeah. Ari, what's going on? Glad you could make it though, Rosano. All right, how you been, man? You gotta DM me on Twitter, and we'll get in contact texting wise, so we could have you back on for it. We should have on Kush for tomorrow. Nate's in here. Hey, Nate, what's going on? Sorry about Washington football team. They got destroyed, but not as bad as my team. Dre, what's going on, brother? How are you? When you said about rebooting Frasier, it's true. When I know Marty Crane passed. So I don't know. They're gonna have to do without him. Damn thing. I can't. The wig thing is not loading. But the only place it was not on Amazon. The only place to find a wig was just they were clown wigs. There was no like red and black wig. So the only place that had a red and black wig was a lingerie website. So I didn't sign up for emails, but somehow I keep getting emails for like stuff like this, and it's just lingerie, and I don't wear that. So, yeah, they are. Albert Token, good to have you in here. So yeah, Matt's gonna be joining us soon, so don't worry. I definitely just got to get that invite out to him in a bit. I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry we couldn't do a post-match review for that match against Spezia over the weekend. We can discuss that for a little bit before we get Matt in here. So what was everybody's real thoughts on that? I was asleep for the first half. I had my brother's birthday party the night before, so I was not really I was hungover, if we want to be honest here. So I woke up, then I saw the actual fact that Maldini scored, and I thought it was a literal fever dream, as I mentioned on Twitter. I was like, you actually kidding me? Because I woke up right as the start of the second half. It was literally, I turned on Paramount Plus, which we get here in the U.S. for the Serie A matches. And the first thing was the replay of Maldini heading the ball in. I was cracking up because I couldn't believe it. I could not believe my eyes that the thing that we had a bet on in one of the first clips that we posted was that. So it was awesome to see. Better to sleep first half, 0 shots. Yeah, I watched extended highlights. I watched a good amount of it. They just looked tired. It kind of looked like one of those games where they're like, okay, let's something similar to the Venezia game as well. Let's string this as long as far as we can with not a lot of starters, try and get a result out of it. And they did. Kalulu's cross was fantastic. Salamaker's assist again to Brahim Diaz. Those two have had a great week, even within limited minutes. I thought it was awesome to see grind out a win like that. I even tweeted it out in the middle of the match. I'm like, this is how you don't win the title. This is how you always slip up, is the fact that you don't grab a win like that you drop points on the road against an inferior side. But they got the 3 points nonetheless. They got 6 points overall during the entire week against two sides who aren't of the greatest. Best case, they're outside the relegation zone. I think Kessie still needs to get his feet underneath him. He still doesn't look that great. Benacer has been terrific once again. I thought Rafael Leao, guys, I understand not scoring is frustrating to some. There were some chances within that game in that second half that he should have maybe buried one of them. But overall, that's what we're looking for. Dribbling past players, creating the he had 2 hockey assists within that. He had that through ball that was a switch of play over to Pierre Kalulu, who crosses the ball in to get it to Daniele Maldini. He one-times the one pass that goes to Salamakers, who makes a great run into the box and perfectly placed that ball right in front of goal. Brahim Diaz having the wherewithal to know where to place that shot. And it was a great 2-1 win. and Davide Calabria. Also give him a big shout out for that because he was the one who prevented Brahim from taking off his own shirt. It was well documented with everyone on the internet, really, and mostly Twitter, where we all hang out. So yeah, everyone's happy for Daniele Maldini. I think he put in a solid performance from what you ask of him. He scored. That's great. It's something that he takes that burden off of him. It could be, yeah. Gaius does have to shave his hair like Ronaldo in 2002. It was a baller, very dangerous. I agree. And people still forget how young he is to this day. We are going to have expected and probable 11s for the Atletico match. Our guy Ahmad has made them once again, so that's great. Very excited about that. Did I send the invite to Santangelo? I think I did. He should get it. I'm going to just send him a quick text while everyone can just kind of keep on talking about the Spezia match. Okay. No problem, Milan Globe. Glad you're in here. Appreciate you, as always. Yeah, listen, Spezia, hate this hockey assist thing. Why? Why do you hate it, Joey? Because you're a hockey player, you're a hockey fan. I need your reason as to why you hate it. I need a good one. I don't need it because it's a hockey thing that you find insulting to your sport. What is the HIC? Are you saying what is the hockey assist, Admiral? Is that what you're asking? I could explain it very briefly. It's a pretty simple concept. So basically, if no one knows, secondary assist, but we call it a hockey assist because I'm too lazy. But you just hate the name of it. So you hate the name of it. But anyways, secondary assist in hockey and what I call a hockey assist in this, you could call it whatever you want. It's not an official stat. But I always found when watching matches over the years and just matches from 2019 to 2020 when COVID restarted, I'm like, listen, there's a lot of players that are not getting the proper respect that they deserve because they're not getting the assist popping up on the score sheet or in the statistics that are on transfer market. There has to be something that proves, look at all the work that this one player did to create a goal. Meaning that one highlight that I showed of Sandro Tonali in the Europa League last year where he sends that ball up the field 70 yards or whatever it was, and Samu Castillejo gets to the ball, just a simple pass in front of goal, and it's a goal for Rebic, an assist for Samu Castillejo, but nothing is given to Sandro Tonali, who in all reality was a major part of that play. Without Tonali's pass there, it's not even going to happen as a goal. So for me, I was like, all right, there has to be some way that I could track it within my opinion. That's okay. Rafael Leao, for example, on the first goal, switches the ball all the way on the other side of the field to Pierre Kalulu, which completely gives him a great opportunity. The defense is scrambling. Kalulu sends a cross in. Maldini heads it in. That play starts with Rafael Leao. And I think a player like Rafael Leao and any player who creates something like that should get credit for it. Some statistical quantification that gives them credit for creating a chance on goal. I just think that's the way it should be. I keep it for me. So I always tweet it out. As of right now, Leao is the one with the most. He got 2 in the one match. There's some that I don't consider an assist or secondary assist, is that, if a player is dribbling a ball so often after they received one pass and then they cross it in and then it's a tap in goal, I don't think that deserves to be a secondary assist, in my opinion, because the player is dribbling up and doing so much of that work. That initial pass is like, like you had something to do with it, but that wasn't a major part within that goal. So that's basically where it came from. Vito's in here. Ciao, Vito. Jay-Z, what's going on, brother? No, I'm glad you're here too. Derek, how's it going? You beat down on my Jets yesterday. Congratulations to you guys. Off to a really good start in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. How are you doing, Fatiero? Good to see you in here. Yes. So the attendance thing, I think, is very important. That's been confirmed. Milan, I had that on their account. I think Milan Reports might have had it. I just haven't failed to see it. I was just working and editing the latest State of Play podcast. 75% is massive. We have, I think it can go up to 80,000 seats in San Siro. Think about 75% of whatever that number is. I haven't been able to do the math yet. that adds up over the course of the season. Hopefully he gets to 100%. We've seen the finances. Sabrina knows about it. Everyone else knows about it. You get people in the stadium. You make more money. It makes up for a lack of money the past 2 seasons, pretty much, due to COVID and all that stuff. So I think this is just great for the club. I think it's great for the sport because you see them, Nate, is it 60,000? I mean, 60,000 is bigger than most stadiums and how much teams fill up. 60,000 is going to sell out. Milan could probably do that all the time. You have to factor in they're a good team again. You have to also factor in the part that people are dying to go to matches now because they haven't been able to go to matches and they understand the gravity of that and having the ability and not taking it for granted anymore. So again, I think it's been awesome. Atletico has been sold out per the 50%. Yeah, our good friend Claudio Orsini is going to the match for Atletico tomorrow. He says he's going to have some videos for us. Haven't been quite able to download the videos yet, so I apologize, Claudio. Once I'm able to download all the videos, I will have them uploaded on here and do all that. So yeah, just kind of wrapping up with the Spezia stuff. Again, I think it's just a mental test to this team, and I think the team needs more trust from the fans in general, including myself was one of them that was kind of doubting it, like, we can't lose a match like this. Like, this is inexcusable to drop a couple points. There's a bunch of negativity on the timeline. We need to grab that second goal. We need to do better here. We need to kill off this game. They didn't quite kill it off in the fashion that we would have liked to. We didn't like exactly the way they played for the full 90 minutes. But the most important thing, once again, and I've said this to Matt, and we always agree on this, and what we've seen with Juve in the past decade is this: you get 3 points. 3 points is 3 points. It doesn't matter how you get them. At the end of the day, it's Milan 2, Spezia 1. And even unlucky to give up the goal that they gave up. Did Teo give a little bit more space than we would have liked on that shot? Sure. But a deflection is a deflection. Magnan can't do much. Tonali's trying to do his job there. So it was a garbage goal to concede. But at the end of the day, not really Milan's fault like that. So you could really say the 3 goals that Milan have conceded in league play so far are completely preventable, one, and the other was unlucky. The 2 against Cagliari, you can't, and Juve, the one that they allowed to each of those teams, it just wasn't good enough. But hey, I thought everyone stepped up and did a good job. Romagnoli solid again. Tomori solid again. Mike Magnan has just been phenomenal. So yeah. Any other thoughts on that match? We're still going to be waiting for Santangelo. We have some more positive news within the club itself, right? Pioli basically saying Kier is going to be able to return. If he's not, I don't think personally he should start tomorrow. We'll see the projected lineups for that. Giroud, we saw him start in that match. Pellegrini, we even saw feature some more once again. Ibra's situation is just, I think it's just fluid at this point. It's day by day. I don't expect him to come back before the break. Give him a couple more weeks with the international break coming up, right? We have Atletico Tuesday, then we have the Atalanta match, 8:45 p.m. in Italy on Sunday. So that would be nice to, get points out of this, get something, and then we move into the break. We get Junior Messias back. We're going to be getting other players back that could improve their conditioning over time as well. Florenzi should be back. I know I may be missing someone else, but Giroud is not going to get called up to the French national team, so he'll hang back and heal at the same time. Yeah, I've seen those statistics, Fatiero, about that, so I hope that continues it well. I can't even follow how deep stats go. We have the basics like expected goals and probably something for the hockey. I like that term as well. I like the goal chance created. Yeah, goal created. There's some of these things just lack so much context, and context is the most important part in all this stuff because we could see chances created and we see expected goals pop up and we're watching a match and you're like, that's not really indicative of what we saw on the pitch, right? There were way better chances to just say the expected goals for Milan was only 2. We saw maybe 4 or 5 instances where they should have scored, right? So how does it come out to like 0.7 expected goals? I know the math is a little different, but that's how you can't trust it because at the end of the day, what the stat is telling you is that Milan was expected to score under 1 goal. That's not what an expectation should be. I just think a hockey assist or a secondary assist, whatever you want to call it, has more concrete factual observation to it. Like you could say, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And it's not that objective or subjective of a stat. It's more objective. It's, hey, he's clearly allowing that ball to go through there. It would have elevated a lot of players, like the Andrea Pirlo's of the world, that you didn't always see the main assists going to him, but he was creating so much within that goal, is that he's not getting credit for it statistically. So I think that should be something there. How about that salary chart? Paid 1 million for the loan and 3 million. Yeah, you have to pay the salary if you loan a guy. I think they wanted more depth, and they didn't want to. And we talked about this, Chillis, with Matt. Listen, when a club has a set price on a player, they do not want to overpay, and it's obvious that the team has not wanted to overpay for it. No one else deemed it to be that. So for me, again, I think Milan stood firm on that. Would I have wanted another right winger? Absolutely. I totally agree with that. They're going to have another chance to go get him. They could put in an offer that says, hey, accept us at this price in January. You could have him back for the rest of the season, or we pay a little bit more from the situation that you're in. It's going to be difficult. If they're in this relegation battle, they're less likely to sell Favier. Because why? Because they don't want to get relegated. You sell one of your best players who's contributing a lot in terms of goals and assists so far this season. Why would you want to get rid of that? Because that all but cements relegation for you, and that's financial suicide. But at the same time as well, you do get relegated. What happens? You're kind of sitting here saying we're not going to get as much for Favier because we're not in the main division. That's the kind of risk that Brest is taking at this point. And you know what? That's on them at the end of the day. Milan could coup out one more time. 50 million net for our players. Ain't that around Atalanta level? I mean, it's not around Atalanta's. It's more of Fatiero, just Atalanta-esque for a major club, where it's more savvy with their buys. But it is closer to Atalanta than it is Juve. I just think it's just savvy business. It's been smart. And here we are again, starting off great to the season. And the injuries aren't impacting us that much, and they aren't as grave as last year. And we got ourselves to more checkpoints where we're okay. Whereas last year, we had to thrust Romagnoli into the starting lineup. We haven't had to force Simon Kjaer, right? We haven't had to force Calabria back into the lineup early. Right? We've had players that can step into other positions, just like the defensive midfield trio, right? Because we saw them all get game time. We haven't had, dependent to rush back Benacer into it. We haven't rushed back Kessie into his spot as well. Even Olivier Giroud. There's a lot more options. This is why depth matters. Next 5 Sunday games, evening games will be great. October is one of the better months for us coming up. I just need some water. I think October, we could really do some damage in it. We could really try to create separation within the standings. I think a win over Atalanta would be massive this weekend. Just absolutely massive. We're above like 4 or 5 points with them right now. If we can get a separation of 7 or 8 points, fantastic. Fantastic. You head into the break, you recoup, you get Verona when you come back. What are Daniele Maldini's this one. Best attributes. I mean, very mediocre. I mean, I don't think we can have any judgment on him so far. The most judgment that we could have is just that half of football for him in his first ever start in the league. The rest are tiny features. They're not real debuts. They're nothing that we could really boast about or take away from. I think he's a very technical player. Everything we've seen with the Primavera, whether it's preseason matches and even what we see now. I mean, it's funny that he scored a header. That's not really what he's known for. Has good dribbling skills, has good skill on the ball. Some of his passes were weak, for sure. He's 19. He's 19. No player, regardless of last name, first name, whatever the hell you want to say, background, no player is a finished product at 19. No one is that great. But also at the same time, how many 19-year-olds with that amount of pressure score on their debut? Not many. It was a good start. We still don't know what the player he's going to be. I still don't know what player he's going to be. Matt doesn't know. Everyone doesn't know. Hell, Daniel himself has no idea. Awesome to see from him. It's a confidence booster nonetheless. So we'll see what happens. They're going to progress him. He's going to come along. You get Krunic back as well. You're going to see Krunic and Messias really take over that role. So I wouldn't expect, unless some injuries happen, knock on wood, you're not going to be seeing too much of Daniele Maldini for a little while, unless it's like a Coppa Italia match or featuring later on in a game. if it calls for it, depending on the situation within the squad itself. Earns 10% of Florenzi's wages this season. Yeah, he has done more already. Listen, man, hopefully Florenzi can get to it. Really struggling. I think out of all the players that had a good amount of minutes for this squad, I would say Florenzi, besides Kessie at times, has been the most disappointing. Most rest Kessie has ever had for us. Yeah, I mean, listen, at the Olympics, playing all the amount of games that they had, I agree. Most of the fans are blaming the medical team. I don't think the medical team, but maybe only that with Giroud with his back. Kessie, I don't know, man. I've said it. He doesn't agree by January, sell him. He's had enough. Yeah, listen, Tonali again, by the way. You see all these Juve fans like ripping on Tonali because like Locatelli had a good match against Sampdoria in a match in which they just squeaked by 3-2. Like Tonali has been bang like a boss like all season. And on top of it, he had a better game against Locatelli at the same time. So like, what are we doing here? Does it matter when Tonali plays well against Locatelli, or is it when they don't play each other? And it was like one of Tonali's weaker games of the season when he wasn't even asked to do too much. I think it was very wise by Pioli again. Pioli has knocked everything out of the ballpark, baseball term, with his substitutions, with his starting lineups almost every single time. Juve is in some trouble. Morata's going to be out to the end of October. Paulo Dybala will be missing the games this week, but he should be back after the international break. We don't know why Matt is here. He's getting his scissors to cut his hair. Listen, he's a little bit behind with work. Let me try and get an update with him because we've been in here for about 23 minutes. Any update, Ramble Tangelo? Anything that you guys wanted to discuss at the current moment? Aside from everybody's hair within the show, you guys can let me know with that. Whatever you want to discuss, I'll try and bring it up and answer or just discuss with you guys. Maldini needs to show Kessie in his agent in game video. Barella, yeah, different times though, and different contracts as to when it's happening. But I agree, Barella, best midfielder in Serie A by far. The fine Nicolo Zaniolo could be getting, Admiral talks about. Listen, man. Like, what? Lazio has the capability of trolling Zaniolo, and the fans are able to get mad at him for not liking him. But meanwhile, we're sitting here. Have we resolved the Bakayoko thing? Have we resolved it? No, we ain't talking Zan here. No. That fine for Zaniolo. I don't know how much he'll get, though. I don't know. Who knows? Nice to see Pico. Yeah, I agree. They're just quality substitutions. He's learning from some of his mistakes from last season in terms of squad rotation, as well as just having better overall squad depth. I'm just genuinely happy with everything right now. The only points we drop were against Juve away with some injury issues. I'll take it every single time. I'll take it. Like it's not the worst thing in the world. We have not lost yet. We are 6 games in to the season so far. Just keep this rolling now. We just get the checkpoints. Each international break, we look at it like a checkpoint. Review, how's Milan doing? Are they creating some separation in the top 4 spots? How close are they to a potential title? How are they healthy? How are they managing things? Week by week is what we take it. So yeah, Matt is he's gonna have to get back to me as soon as he can. Okay. What do we got here? Kalulu's glow up is massive. He's my goddamn freaking guy, bro. I love him. I have not been as high on Pierre Kalulu propaganda as Alessio has been. He's a pretty good account. I'm pretty sure his profile picture is Kalulu with the Ballon d'Or. So props to him. But again, man, I've been saying this. I gotta find that tweet. I said it was gonna be like a Pogba-esque type of steal where Milan get a top talent for free, and the club is going to regret it. That let him go. I also said he was going to be taking Calabria's spot this time next year, and that must have been in like March or April. So that's not the wisest of things I've said. But hey, man, he's clearly cemented himself within the squad. I think they need to make a move in January for a good young striker, Giroud and Ibarra. They can't rely on Pellegrini. I don't know. I think if it just depends on what we see in these next couple months. I think it's too early to say Texas. I think it's a good question to have, but I think we can rely on Giroud. I think it's just been a little unfair because with the COVID stuff and he's come back relatively quick from the back thing. The guy doesn't really have an injury history like that. If they persist, then we could have a separate conversation. But as far as Ibra goes, I think that's fair to say. You have any young striker in your mind that we can get this summer for the future? Yeah, his name's Lorenzo Colombo. He plays for Spal in Serie B. You should check him out. He's a pretty good player. All seriousness, though, WSMN, I think he's the guy. Scudetti or lost when you drop points against the lower teams in the table. Nice to see. Rossonero P. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kruktian, how you doing, brother? Good to see you in here. Kalulu signing more likely Kingsley Coman than Pogba. Listen, the Pogba thing is what people completely took out of context. I never said he was going to be the level of Pogba. What I was saying was he's going to have the impact that is so big on a club that they have so much more depth. The quality at the position is just greatly increased, and it costs nothing. And it costs absolutely nothing. And the best part is his agent isn't Mino Raiola. It's a great problem to have. I wouldn't worry about Kalulu and the Calabria thing for the future. We let that take care of itself. I think he'll be plenty adequated within the squad when he needs to. Emil Roback, apparently and allegedly his agent was saying that he wasn't satisfied with the amount of playing time that he has had within the squad so far. That's first team stuff. Okay, if that's the thing, he doesn't want to play at the Primavera level. I understand where you're coming from. I totally think it's a fair thing to say. He wants to grow that way. He's a little bit older than someone you would like within the Primavera side. Loan him out. Loan him out 6 months. See what he could do at that level. Have him come back. Go from there. I think that's ultimately what we're going to see. Bobega, Adley, and Colombo all returning in the summer. We'll see what they could do with January. Maybe Favier will be in there. We're going to have to ask Santangelo with all that stuff. But hey, guys, listen. Bobega's playing real well. Had another good match today. The kid is getting it. He's learning it under Ivan Juric. Sucks that we don't have him for this year, but I think we could survive without him. A real player for the future. And I think we need to extend his contract when he comes back because it's 2 seasons now that we loaned him out. His contract kind of winding down. Give him a fair extension. I think next season, I think Colombo, too, is like the massive growth. If we get Lorenzo Colombo to get over 10 goals this season, I believe he has 3 so far. Almost knocked that over. Let's see what we got for Lorenzo Colombo. And each of these goals are not, garbage goals. These are real hard-earned goals that you need to see from him to take the next step and play at a club like Milan. Okay, so why does it only have the Italian Cup? It's so stupid. I don't care about that transfer market. 3 goals and 1 assist in 6 matches so far. 463 minutes. It's great production, in my opinion. I think the Alexis thing is always fascinating to me because he's not world-class. He's not going to be world-class. He's not elite. He's never going to be elite. But he could still be a really serviceable player. I think he could be an important squad player, and I think he's shown his value. Again, I'm not asking him to be Messi. I'm not even asking him to be Domenico Berardi. I want him to be a really good version of Fabio Barini, who is, versatile, can play multiple formations, constantly give you this work rate that could help out the team within. You don't always have to score goals to contribute to your team. Gennaro Gattuso was one of them. I'm not even saying he's at Gattuso's level. Obviously, he's not. But what he is someone that could work real hard, play within good teams like Milan, like the Belgian national team. If you can understand what I'm saying, no, that's not. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying, my man. That's not what I'm saying at all. If somebody wants to clarify for me, because I've explained this way too many times to explain this one more. No offense. Ricardo Pepi interest. I say the Ricardo Pepi interest is something that I've seen from MLS stuff is this, and he's played for the American national team. So if someone would know him within this, I don't think we have many Americans in here, if any, besides Nate. Um, at the current moment, and probably Texas, obviously. Um, I think that Ricardo Pepe's asking price at the current moment from the FC Dallas is too high. He hasn't proved enough at all. I think the price was like around 10 million euros. No, thank you. Come back with something more reasonable and prove more. But did step up big time within USA qualifiers. Not really anything to boast about. Playing real poor countries in terms of play and quality. These countries, El Salvador, I believe it was. I would hope you are playing up to that. He's talented, but again, Milan, we're like the standard here is there's got to be a lack of arrogance from Americans, and that's hard to find. So until we find that, yeah. Do you think Alexis could maybe play as a substitute 10? I don't think he's a substitute 10. Maybe a midfielder in a 4-3-3 on the right side, work rate like crazy, but I wouldn't put him in as a midfielder in a 4-3-3. Unless you have a clear right winger that's fantastic, but also a great work rate. I think I would easily I consider putting him in a 3-man midfield if you were desperate for it. I just don't think that's his spot. But I did see Yo Gotti as a part of DC. I mean, listen, man. You know how many people are just like interested in buying like teams? I'm pretty sure Matthew McConaughey is co-owner of FC Austin. I think James Harden co-owns the team. I know Kevin Durant's a co-owner of the Philadelphia Union. All these guys getting in there, they see the potential upside of this. Salad is like Faf de Klerk. A plead ignorance on that. I got a text from Santangelo, though, saying he will be joining. He says hopping on. I don't know how much more time I have. It's already been half an hour into the show. We're here about 5:40. I can go pull up the graphic for the game as we will have ready. There's not much of Spezia Milan to discuss at this point in time when Santangelo does get in here. Sorry I'm not wearing anything in terms of Milan gear. So I kind of got this polo on for today. It looks a little bit more professional than usual. So yeah, the wig I will wear as soon as it comes in the mail. I'll post to Twitter when it's in the mail. When it comes in the mail, I haven't been able to track the package. I keep on clicking, on my order, and it's not giving me a link to track the package. So it's actually been pretty damn annoying. No, it wouldn't, Fatiero, because that doesn't factor into the season. They're two separate things. I think it would factor into what happens in 21-22. But 95 million is nothing, especially in a pandemic year. They're covering those debts, and it's over 100 less than the year prior. Awesome stuff. Awesome work from management. Once again, Ivan Gazidis, can't say enough about him, to be quite honest with you. What are we doing? Come on, man. I don't know. It's not loading. Maybe I gotta quit out of this. See if it loads now. Just getting the loading thing. What? Well, I can't find it right now. It's hella good to be a Milan fan at the current moment. Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I think we need to worry about owners maybe down the road. Santangelo killing me here, brothers and sisters. So bring it in here. Top 4 is an absolute must, Fatty Fadeaway. No doubt about it. While we wait for Santangelo to kind of ruin, I don't know what the update is with his cancer treatment. I don't want to speculate. Don't want to really comment. Don't know. It's a very personal and private matter. But I hope he's doing well. He's been commenting a little bit more publicly. Hopefully they're tackling this and getting ahead of it and doing the best they can in terms of that and healing him. So yeah, let's test for them. I have no idea. That's way too hard to speculate and know. Do Do you think we get out of the group? We'll do that later. Let's kind of like just talk about tomorrow first and get this kind of revved up for Santangelo. So Milan versus Atletico at the San Siro tomorrow. First match at the San Siro in the Champions League since they were eliminated from Atletico Madrid. They were eliminated away though. The first leg was at home at the San Siro. Listen, completely different team from then. Completely different outlook now. Atletico lost over the weekend to Alaves, 1-0. As we know, there's zero correlation between what you do in the league and what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday nights in the Champions League, as no mind just watching this club over the years, where the last 2 times that they won the Champions League, they did not win the league. So there is no correlation to that. They were very poor in Serie A in 2007. So, yeah, here we go. He's finally in. Thank God. I need to drink some water. Can you give me a thumbs up so you're good? I just want to make sure. Okay. How are you? Please take it away. Tell us how you're doing. I need water.
Exhausted. Yeah. First off, hello to everyone. Second off, who else is excited? Who else is excited to see my man Martino over here with a red and black wig very soon? Just ping that down in the comments.
Yeah. I live up to my end.
I don't.
The bets,
and I own up
you
to
don't.
that.
You're a flake.
But I guess I'll give some reaction to hey Milan Globe, how are you? Been a busy day. Sorry guys, I'm jumping in here late.
You're good. I just wanted to introduce and start discussing tomorrow's match because I discussed enough of everything else.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, tomorrow. Go. I'll get the lineup first. Just what's your overall outlook of this?
I feel better going into this match than obviously I do heading into the Liverpool match for several reasons. I think obviously traveling to Anfield is difficult. It was always going to be tough. That's the first game, the first welcome back to the Champions League for Milan. I think they, for the most part, 3-2 is a decent result, all things considered. They got obviously throttled for the most part, but to get 2 goals there, I'll take that. Something to build off going into this match where Milan head home. It's going to be a big support being back at the San Siro. I think that's something that the players are really going to feed off of. And unlike last year, where our home form was dreadful, I anticipate Milan being able to get back to having San Siro be not a fortress, but a place where they can thrive in, right? So when you factor that in with the way we're playing, but also who we're coming up against in their form in Atletico Madrid, I think this is the right time to catch Atletico Madrid. The win beggar Santangelo. The please win tweet. It's got good juice lately.
It even has copycats now.
Yeah, I have copycats. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So, but yeah, I getting back to this game, I think the lineup looks to be about the best we can put out there. Giroud or Rebic, whoever starts, looks like it's going to be Rebic starting from the front and from the very beginning here. Giroud probably coming in late. But I think Milan can get something from this. And it's funny because when we did the state of play recording, Martino, Pet actually has Milan winning 2-0, which is saying a lot about Milan, how much confidence he has in Milan.
He's high on
but
us,
also
man.
how
He's
down
really
he
high.
is on Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid has, for a better lack of a term, shithoused a lot of points.
Yeah.
They really do. And it's kind of like Simeone's kind of been a tired voice to an extent over there. Like the style is just and someone brought up but Chillis brought up this good point. They possess so much offensive talent and they play like they're this defensive, grinded out match type of side with like 11 Gattusos.
They play like an old-fashioned Italian team that wants to defend.
That never wins the Champions League, so they might as well be Juve. So I think, honestly, Matt, I think we need a win if we want to get out of the group. I think we have to win this one.
Yeah. This is also the time. This is also the time to get them, right? Like if you're gonna, we talked about it when in our preview episode of heading into that Liverpool game, that we should get something from Porto. That's obviously the opponent we're probably more on the same pecking order with or playing field with. But you got to get something out of these 4 games against Atletico and Liverpool if you want to have any chance at getting out, right? The second
at least
game,
1 win of the 4 games. 1 win, at least.
Yeah, you have to get 1 win. It's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you respect Diego Simeone, Atletico Madrid, because despite
Absolutely.
Antoine Griezmann having really no production for them,
Literally none.
he's a player that can still turn it on. Like, he's still a
Uh,
great player. I don't care about his form. He's still a great player. He's not in form, but all it takes is one game for him to get 2 goals, then he's back rolling. So you have to
I
be
agree.
respective of that. But I think the crowd's going to be buzzing, and I think that's something that Milan are really going to thrive off of. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not DePaul, but he's such a game changer, and I think it's really great to
None of it's
see.
easy.
It's great to see a lot of people who don't watch Serie A, and obviously who didn't watch Udinese over the years, be greeted by DePaul during the Copa America with Argentina, but also
So good
fully
during
being
that time.
showcased how good he really is as a midfielder.
He's a monster. He's
He's
an
a
animal.
beast. He's a beast.
I I will. I'm very curious. You see how we started out versus Liverpool, completely nervy and outplayed.
Yeah.
How do they play behind the San Siro Champions League crowd? Is it deer in the headlight moment again, or do they come out hot and they're like, all right, this is it. We got our feet wet with that Liverpool one. We saw how we came back within that. We played some pretty big matches now as this core. And now we're back at home. We have the fans behind us. First match at the San Siro in the
Mhm.
Champions League for Milan since 2014. Like, this is it. This is what a lot of forget about what club you play for in the Champions League night. The fact or what team you grew up playing or rooting for when you're a kid. A lot of these players right now dreamed of this moment, whether they rooted for Milan or not. You're playing for Milan on a Champions League night against a massive club in Atletico Madrid, and it's a massive match within the group. Like, there's so much behind this. I'm just curious to see on how some of these guys react again. Does Salamakers bounce back? How does Kessie and Benacer do bouncing back? Can they handle that? How does Rebic handle isolation up top by himself? Liao, does he do a better job? Like, everyone had to do a better job outside of the back four. Outside three of the defenders, not including Teo Hernandez and Mike Magnon. Like, how does everyone else handle themselves? They have to bounce back and play a great 90 minutes, Matt, because they can't do what they did against Liverpool, where you score a couple in a couple minutes. I think it's interesting. My mm, my take is that I expect them to kind of be still nervy, but not to the extent that we saw at Anfield, because Anfield is just a different environment in itself.
I think this the way this game is shaping up, I think
Mm-hmm.
it plays exactly into the match that Milan wants, right? Because in that game against Liverpool, they were running around with like chickens with their head cut off, trying to just like reshape and get the ball and maintain possession, and they never really settled into that, right? Yes, they struck Liverpool with 2 quick goals, but they didn't that those really didn't come off spells of possession. They kind of just got them on the counter and they kind of hit him with 2 quick, with 2 punches really quickly.
Yep.
This game, I think it's going to be slower paced, which I think Milan could have this sort of match and fall into that flow of the game that they like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting good amounts of possession, being able to control the game, the tempo, and then in those moments, lay out into space, like a lot of what we've seen throughout the Serie A games. So I think in that sense, the game is going to be more in front of them. It's not going to be them chasing to see if they can catch up to Liverpool. It's going to be, all right, game is slowed down pace. Let's
Mm-hmm.
observe. Let's pick our spots here and see how we can get a result. And I think, look, you want Ibrahimovic for these games. You want your best players out there. But I think we have to be respective of the guys we have and the performances they've put in.
Fatiar, I don't think that's true, man. I don't think we were the
We're
favorites
favorites.
back
We're
then.
kind of
We were abysmal.
we were
I
bad.
don't think
We were bad. We had a couple names, but
it
even
was
at that
Kaká. It
time,
was Kaká, Robinho, people
Kaká
like Del
past his
Shadowy on
prime.
those team.
Balotelli still kind of up and down, and then you had your normal suspects of the banter era. That team wasn't anything, guys.
No,
I
they
mean,
were
Atletico Madrid in that sort of era were a team that was
they were
kind of on the brink of being in the Champions League final. Like they were maybe
they
a
did.
year
They made
beyond
it to
it.
the final that year. That's when Real Madrid won La Decima.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a
So
great final. They would have won if Arda Turan and Diego Costa didn't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean
That
that
was
was
a
a
they
that
were
was a
they were
great
so
team.
good. That's the
This
best Atletico team
it's
I've seen.
it's much different this time around. I'm not saying Milan are going to be the favorites here, but I
Hmm.
think this is the really good opportunity for them to be aggressive. I don't want to see them playing scared, and I don't want to see them going for like a draw. Although it's a good result, I think this is the time you want to catch Atletico Madrid. So you have to take risks. You have to be able to
Hmm.
go forward with guys like Leao, guys like Brahim Diaz, who I think is going to be, if I'm being honest here, I think he's going to be the X factor for Milan, right?
Hmm.
Spanish background. He's played in the league a little bit. He's the type of guy that Milan's going to need to unlock Atletico Madrid when they are playing deep, trying to
Hmm.
absorb and trying to defend. That's the focus. Him and Leao. If him and Leao can get it rolling quickly, Milan are going to stir up chances, and it's going to be whether or not Rebic can make the most of them, just like he did against Liverpool. I think Milan can, what they did in those 2 goals against Liverpool, have a little bit more consistency and be able to conjure up more of those opportunities and not have them be somewhat of a couple seconds lapse in judgment or lapse of defending from Liverpool, and more so sustainable.
Yeah, so we saw the lineup come out there. That was from our guy Ahmad. He's
Yeah.
the man. Appreciate all the work that you do. The more recent lineup that came out, so it's a little different than that. Romagnoli starting over Simon Kjaer. Agree with it. He's played well enough. It's a good matchup for him. It isn't anything too crazy for him to handle, and Kjaer still needs to not be rushed back. So I agree with that. Tonali sitting many games in a row. Benacer Kessie. I would have been Benacer Tonali. I understand where he's coming from, trying to be cautious. I don't think Frank Kessie earned this start. I think it's just about squad rotation.
I understand the choice tactically. If I'm
I
being honest.
understand. I understand it, but yeah. Rebic. So this is an interesting one. I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you because we've been so busy. But Rebic starting and Giroud not. I understand why Giroud not starting, but it's always about minutes played, Matt. Does Pioli kind of angle this with the idea that Milan keeps us close, say it's 1-1, say it's 0-0, then you bring on Giroud to try and seal off the game, as opposed to taking him off and having to put someone that's not a striker at that position? Remember, Pellegri's not called up for this, right? He's not on the Champions League squad. You don't have Ibra. Your options are simply Giroud off the bench. So I think he would rather bring Giroud in than have him start, and then you put someone that's not a striker there.
I I don't have a problem with either or. And the reason why I say that is because Giroud did start on the weekend,
We
and
did.
against a team, not a team like Spezia, but Spezia away, and I think he must have had a dozen touches in the first half. He was really a non-factor at all. I really didn't hear his name throughout the entire match. I don't know if that was still him trying to work his way back, just feeling himself right back into the squad after some time off. So I don't necessarily hate it, but I think
Mhm.
given his background in the Champions League, obviously he was great with Chelsea last year, scored some very crucial goals, and him being able to maybe come in late and feed off the home ground environment. I like the idea of maybe bringing him on for 45 to 50, not 50 minutes, but at the 40, at
45.
halftime or early
Mhm.
in the second half, where he's more than capable of holding more minutes now. It's not where you're giving him 15, 20 at the end of a game. I think you can give him a good chunk of minutes if at halftime it's simply not working out with Rebic. And that's kind of what I see Pioli going for.
Rebic to me seemed tired over the weekend. I don't
He
think that
did.
was so much. He played poorly, but a lot of it looked like he's just tired, man.
Yeah.
And
Even against Venezia, he was like the header opportunities weren't like he wasn't
he's tired.
capitalizing on
He's
the
playing a
chances.
lot. He's either
Yeah.
striker or he's playing left wing. It's a lot. It's a lot for him.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the rest of the lineup's just standard. You're gonna have to go and attack Atletico. Don't.
Can I just speak on what you mentioned in the midfield regarding it being Kessie and Benacer versus Kessie and
Yeah.
Tonali,
Yeah.
or Benacer and
Yeah.
Tonali?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I love Tonali. I think he's been in great form.
Mhm.
There's no denying that. And I think
Hopefully
Benacer the
Barisha's
past couple
listening because
weeks.
he was texting us about this.
What was that?
I said hopefully Barisha's listening because he texted
No,
us about this. He's pissed about his so rare line.
no, get over it, Pat. Just kidding. So the fact that
Serious.
Tonali's been great, shouldn't also get rid of the fact that when it comes to our midfielders, there's really not a midfielder that can do what Benacer does from a passing standpoint and ball progression standpoint with his passes.
Mm-hmm.
Benacer is that type of guy that is so mobile. He can pick up the ball deep, and he does. He brings a little bit of a different element to his game than Tonali and Kessie, if you understand what I'm saying.
I hear you.
Those two midfielders I just mentioned, they're not as progressive as passers as Benacer is. Benacer, I think in the Venezia game, again, it's Venezia, but he completed more than 90% of his passes.
Oh, your
He can
tweet
play
did
the
what you
ball.
want. Yeah.
He can get the ball. He can carry it by players.
Yeah.
So I think they do need someone who can stretch the field vertically, and I like what Benacer can do in that department.
He was really great. He was a massive game changer off the bench, even for Spezia. They put him on. It was a totally different progressive style of play. Tonali was sitting back. He didn't have to do as much, right? And I think that's kind of what the game plan was. Because I know everyone was like looking at like Leao and Brahim there. Benacer was really the one who turned it around in the midfield. Again, like Matt, he's back to that level that he was this time last year, where he was one of the best midfielders in the league. Like he's playing fantastic. And ever since that Liverpool game, the last Champions League game, he's back now for this one. I'm very excited to see how he plays in this.
I think you also too can teach Tonali, because Tonali didn't get to start versus Liverpool. He came on off the bench. I think Tonali is, in my opinion, if he's provided he's healthy and fitness wise makes sense for that game, he'll start versus Porto. There's no doubt in my mind he gets a start here in that match.
Oh, in the Champions League. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he hasn't gotten a Champions League start yet. He came off the bench versus Liverpool, and if he doesn't start,
I don't even think he got that many versus Liverpool. I think it was like 20-ish, 20 minutes. I just remember the play where he bodied Thiago. That was great. Dude, not scared of the moment, but that's the kind of thing. I don't dispute the Benacer start. I think the Benacer is an absolute must. The Kessie thing is just, it's just like,
I think it's more the physical nature though, because that game could get very aggressive.
Oh, absolutely.
And you need
but it's his form. Tonali.
I know, but the only way to break out of that, Martino, the only way to break out of that form is to get that opportunity to actually break out of that form. You don't get it without playing.
I think you do it against Atalanta. I don't think you do it in the Champions League match that you kind of need to win if you want to get out. I don't hate it, but I wouldn't do it.
I know.
I'm not going to rip Pioli because he knows more, but yeah.
Kessie hasn't been in the best form, and with all the contract stuff stirring up, I understand people not wanting to see him play, but I don't hate this. I think you're going to have some balance in the midfield, and when it's right, I love Tonali. Mm-hmm. When it's right, and we saw it last year, Benacer and Kessie is phenomenal. There's just so much balance there that I think we have to roll with it here. If it's not working, bring Tonali on for 40, 30 minutes. I'm fine with it. But I like those two. I think you need those two to take their game to that level that they were last year, and you have to give them that opportunity here. That's my opinion.
That's fine.
There's no right way to do it.
I guess it's just at your aspirations for the, like for me, I want to make it out of the group, no matter how I can. And there's also a great match and opportunity for him to bounce back on the weekend. And that's against Atalanta, a team that he plays well against often, right? Yeah. Like, for me, Admiral, I have to check a lot of things, man. I produce a show. I produce a bunch of shows. I have to look at stuff. It's not me ignoring anything. I'm listening to everything. I think I get it, and I don't disagree with you at all. I just think I want to get out of this damn group, man, and I'm not sure Kessie's the best option at his current form to get us those 3 points. Could he turn it around tomorrow? Absolutely. Kessie could come out tomorrow where he's playing against an Atletico side that has a lot of grit in them, a lot of fire, animosity, physicality. He could feed off of that. You know what I mean? And that could maybe break him out of that slump. I think he needs to do it, and I think he needs to do it soon because he's going to have to go on an international break with the Ivory Coast. Matt, personally, I hope he turns around. He has to turn around fast because he's going to lose his starting spot. Not only that, he's going to lose leverage in negotiations. which I do think the kind of more mediocre performances he provides with Milan, I think he's just gonna accept the contract offer for two reasons. One, because he could spiral out of control and then get like a lot less from other sides, right? Two, I think he'll just do it because he knows he needs to get his head right. Because if it's bothering him to that extent, it needs to be finalized. It needs to be, hey, I'm committed here long term. Now I just have to focus on playing well, and that could change a lot for him. Ultimately, that's just kind of my way of looking at it. There's no way of knowing that's the actual way that it's going to go. I don't think there's going to be any real updates or anything in regards to that. I hope it's soon. I still think if a contract extension gets done, Matt, it's going to happen when we least expect it. Prediction time, because we're kind of winding on down here towards an hour. Did you have any other thoughts prior to this before wrapped up? I feel like you covered a lot. It was great stuff, as always. I know you're tired, too. No pre-workout today, as you guys can tell. I think this is going to be, Admiral, you're a psychopath. If Milan does that, then Matt has to, like,
You guys are killing
he
me.
has to do something. He has to paint his face red and black for a day.
It can't be just one victory, though.
He says 4-1. If Milan win 4-1 tomorrow,
4-1, like,
come on, the odds of that are very low.
so what? So why does it have to be something I have to do to myself physically? Shave my hair or dye my hair? Why
Paint
can't it
your
be,
face. You can't paint your face red and black. That's too much. You would wash it off after the stream.
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. And it's for 4-1 win for Milan against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, man. Fair. That's incredibly fair. So I'm happy you admit that at least. Plug in all your stuff and all the stuff that the people should be following us while I pull up all these predictions.
On Twitter, at Matt_Santangelo. I just came out with an article for Football Italia on Daniel Maldini. We'll check that out. Question my timeline. Follow us on the State of Play Pod, me, Martino, and Pet at State of Play Pod. We are going to be dropping an episode tomorrow ahead of the games in the Champions League and just recapping some other various topics. So go subscribe, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And yeah, as always, thank you for the support.
Fatira, I love the article, so that's great. Yeah. No, I haven't. I saw it pop up on the TL. I have to get to it. Just, again, listening to State of Play. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Martino Puccio. We see all these predictions coming in here. Everyone just thinks it's going to be a close one. Grind it out. We are very close. I am very close to 3,000 followers on Twitter. What am I at now? I think it'll be like 10. Oh, 9. 9 away. YouTube channel is very close to 100 subscribers, so you guys got to get on over to that. I'm going to go and copy and paste it into it. We're live on YouTube right now. We have 6 people here with us. So that's awesome. I'm going to copy and paste on into chat right now. And here we go. It's in there. Yeah, it's September here. If you don't already follow the stream, please do so. If you don't sub to us and you have a Twitch Prime sub that is unused, feel free to use that as well for us. It's greatly appreciated. We appreciate everybody that hops in all the time. Fatiero, Jay-Z, Chillis, Derek, Admiral, Sabrina, Nate, Fatty Fadeaway, Jay-Z, if I didn't mention him already. Who else? Dre was in here. Milan Globe's been great, hanging out around a lot. Tessam, Vito was in here. Texas Groove. Who else? I know there was other Crutian was in here as well. WSMN. Claudio has been sending in videos. We appreciate Claudio as well. That's pretty much everyone that's been commenting and that I've seen that has covered this stuff. So yeah, go follow us on Twitter at MilanReports.com. We should be on post-match. I need official confirmation from Kush as to when he is coming on. He plans on joining us, so that'll be great to have. Ari was in here too, by the way, so I just remembered Ari is going to be DMing, trying to have him back on. So I guess your prediction.
Going 1-1. I always go draw, but the thing that worries me is
Luis Suarez.
Giroud. I think we'll stir up some chances. It's just how much we're going to capitalize on those chances. Brahim's going to be the key. I think Leao and Brahim are going to have good games. I think the midfield's going to do okay. I think defensively will be fine. But I just right now it feels like it's Brahim and Leao that are kind of carrying the offensive duty and doing most of the stirring of the chances.
Creating, yeah, I guess, yeah.
So I go 1-1 here.
I don't have a positive read on this. I don't like, as in like a strong read. I don't know what the hell.
It's tough.
A win is amazing. A draw,
It's still fine.
I wouldn't even be happy with a draw, to be honest with you. Be like, okay, because like what at that point is that it's like, okay, now we need to absolutely beat Liverpool at home. We need to maybe get something from Atletico on the road, or we have to absolutely take 6 points from Porto. It's just like I'll only be like happy with a win tomorrow. I'll be relatively satisfied with a draw because there's still a lot of game left within the group that you could turn it around. Because we still have to see Liverpool and Atletico play each other. We could potentially have like there's a chance, Matt, that Atletico could lose both games against Liverpool. And Atletico already dropped points to Porto, right? Wasn't it 1-1 when they played?
Yeah, I think so.
So it could be had.
I also think tomorrow, though, it's just in general, like you may not want to draw or be like pleased with the draw, but a draw against Atletico Madrid, back returning to your home yard, it's a good result considering, yes, maybe they're out of form, but they're one of the best teams in Europe. Like when they're playing well,
they're La Liga champions. They're La Liga champions.
Like they're really good.
They made a couple of Champions League finals. They are the only team they're the only team since I think it was Rafa Benitez's Valencia in the early, or was it Valencia, or where did he manage at? In La Liga. Either way, he's the only manager to win La Liga twice that in the 21st century that's not Real Madrid or Barca. Like that, like think about that. That's the type of team that we're running into with Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid. So it was Valencia. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a very short list in a very difficult league, and we're talking about two clubs that we saw were some of the greatest of all time in Messi's Barca and Ronaldo's Real Madrid. So Alaves beat them 1-0, Matt. Milan could beat them 1-0. That's all I'll say. Anybody could be had in this game. Anybody can be had, especially if you play them close.
Yeah,
I'd be ecstatic. I think
look at young boys. Beat Manchester United. Beat Ronaldo. Ronaldo scores an early goal in that one, and you're thinking Manchester United are flying.
Give us a red card, please.
Young boys are getting the win.
Luis Suarez, please bite Frank Kessie and get kicked out and suspended, please. Give us something. Give us a gift.
You're choosing violence.
Matt, we've seen some of the worst Milan sides to ever step foot in the Champions League beat the greatest Barcelona teams of all time.
Yeah.
We've seen this happen, right? The game in which we won 2-1, where Robinho scored and Kaká scored. It's doable. You could do this. It's also a very difficult environment for other teams to come into the San Siro, in which they've never played before. Some of these young guys on Atletico. We could get something out of this. I just hope there were some positives that we take away from Liverpool. Liverpool playing at Anfield is one of the toughest things. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. But yeah, I am hoping for the best tomorrow. We will be on afterwards as soon as Matt can hop in with us. Obviously, his obligations, it's tough for him, but doing as much as you can. We appreciate everybody that hops in here. Check out the State of Play podcast. Follow Vito on Twitter at Vito Angele. If we can get maybe Sabrina or Miguel tomorrow, we'll try for that. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure Kush has the spot. Let's see what happens, man. I'm going to go with a draw as well. I think it'll be a 0-0 uninspiring draw. But, hey, if we win, I'd be over the moon, man. And I say this. If Milan wins, I will say our goal scorer will be Olivier Giroud, I think. I think come off the bench, get something. Hopefully we hold it off. We get 3 points, Matt. We can make it out of the group. I'm positive about it. I think we have a good chance. We just got to do that. So, yeah, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter people, we appreciate all of you. Ahmad, thank you once again for the projected 11 graph. Anything else, Matt, before we sign off? Pretty sure you said everything. You got everything right?
let's hope for the best tomorrow. Let's show up. Let's show out. Let's fight.
Mm-hmm.
Give the fans what they came to see, and it's a strong Milan in the Champions League. So let's hope for the best, guys.
Yep, absolutely. See you guys tomorrow. Appreciate everything. Bye.